morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a fantastic day. If you're new to the channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. Today, we've got ourselves the brand new Ferrari 812 Superfast. Now, if you haven't seen my review on the 812 Superfast yet, I suggest doing so. I go over all of the exterior aerodynamic details, engine data, as well as what it's like to drive. But in this video, I really want to take a deeper look into what it is actually like to drive the 812 Superfast from a first-person point of view. So we've got the point of view camera on, so you can put yourself behind the driver's seat of an 812 and experience this for yourself. First, let's do a little walk around of the exterior of the car. Beautiful rear end, newly designed spoiler that's integrated with a massive amount of storage space. Check this out. Lift that up. Tons of space here, as well as in the rear deck area there. You can also get a really good look at how gorgeous these carbon fiber racing buckets are. Newly designed rear diffuser with 3 flaps that deploy at up to 17 degrees in order to stall out the diffuser and reduce drag. Come around the side. Basically, every single element that you see has a function. This element right here increases downforce. This element right there also increases downforce. Come around to the front of the 812 Superfast. Now, this is the only part that's a bit controversial for me. I actually like the looks of the F12 a bit more, but it still is a striking car. Air feeds in through the front radiators there. Hot air extracts out of the hood vents, getting rid of that hot air. Of course, we have extra downforce here as well. Air comes in and then travels down the side here. Let's go ahead and pop the engine compartment, shall we? That is a lever right here in red. Not Ferrari red, though. Go ahead and open the hood. Now, underneath the hood, this is a front-engined rear-wheel drive car. It is a 6.5-liter V12 that makes 789 horsepower and 530 pound-feet of torque. That actually makes the 812 Superfast the highest horsepower naturally aspirated car in production. All right, go ahead and close the engine. You'll notice in the front here, down low, is actually a camera. I love that it's finished in carbon fiber, and that is a frontal camera, so you can see forwards when you're going at low speeds in a parking lot so that you don't crunch your front bumper. I love that. More supercars need that. We've got traditional Ferrari door handle right here. Let's take a look at the key for a moment, shall we? This is their new key, comes on a 488, comes on an 812. It no longer has a manual key that you insert in the ignition. You can just leave it in your pocket and click the stop start button. Lock, unlock, lights, as well as the rear hatch. So let's go ahead and unlock the car. Go ahead and hop in the interior. The interior is absolutely gorgeous in this car. Carbon fiber everywhere, leather throughout. These are the sport racing seats. They're carbon fiber, one of 8 options. They're very, very comfortable. I love the perforation and the contrasted stitching, the Ferrari emblem. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the seat. Now, because these are carbon fiber racing buckets, they are manually adjustable forward and backwards with this lever here. Now we get to the steering wheel. Absolutely gorgeous design for the steering wheel. We've got an LED indicator here that changes colors depending upon what RPM we're at. We'll show you that in a little bit. We've got our center tunnel here for reverse automatic and PS, which is launch control. Let's go ahead and fire up the car, shall we? So no need to turn the key. You just click the engine start stop button right there. Interestingly enough, this car actually has automatic stop start. In order to deactivate that, there is a button on the roof to cancel that feature. In the center, we don't have a massive display. It's actually rather tiny. We've just got the layout for the climate control. This button here releases the beautifully wrapped glove box. And then, of course, we have the passenger display over here, which can read out the driver's RPMs, as well as navigation info and multimedia stuff as well. Super, super comfortable and airy in here. It really is a comfortable place to be. Controls on the steering wheel, like Ferraris in the past. We have the turning indicators actually on the steering wheel itself. So click that for left turn, click that for right turn. We've got our windshield wipers right here. Then we've got the Manatino dial to shift through the different modes: wet, sport, race, CT off, and then all systems off, which you have to hold for a bit, and then it says ESC off. We're gonna go back into sport or race mode. Then we have bumpy road mode here. To change the mirrors, we've got a little toggle right here to go through the different modes. The left screen is controlled by these set of controls here, and the right screen is controlled by these set of controls over to the right. All right, let's go ahead and take this out for a drive, shall we? You can see on the passenger's display, it's showing the VDA modes right now. Let's go ahead and put it into performance, and then if I give it some revs, there you go. Listen to this V12. And as you can see, the LEDs light up, letting you know when to shift. And they reach blue at the end, letting you know it is time to pull that 7-speed double clutch automatic transmission. So for the first part of this point of view drive, I'm gonna try something different. I'm not gonna say anything for about a minute and a half, and just let you listen to that beautiful V12 engine. Back. I hope you enjoyed the ridiculous sounds of that 6.5 liter V12 that revs all the way to 9,000 RPMs. Right now we are cruising in wet mode, the most docile of modes. And yes, you can in fact drive your Ferrari in the rain, it won't melt. We're activating bumpy road mode, which softens up the magneto-aereological suspension to make it ride even more smoothly over bumps. And we are in automatic mode, probably the lamest combination of settings you could have in any Ferrari. But it just goes to show you that driving this car is so unbelievably easy. You could truly daily drive this thing with no hindrances whatsoever. As I talked about in the review, the amount of luggage space, 11.3 cubic feet of storage, is twice its Italian competitor. You've got enough for 3 carry-on bags and 2 backpacks, and even more than that, so you can go on long weekend trips, you can go on long road trips, not a problem at all. The 812 is just such an easy car to drive. The steering is light, the suspension is supple. Around town, driving this in traffic, long distances, no problem at all. It is, of course, predominantly a GT car, but what's really impressive is what happens when you change the modes to the exact opposite of what I am in right now. So we've got various different driving modes: wet, then there's sport on the Manettino dial, then there is race, then there is CT off, and ESC all the way off. We're gonna leave it in race mode. In the center tunnel here, if you go ahead and click on automatic, that puts it into manual, funny enough. And then let's make sure we're not in the bumpy road setting. Yep, we are in normal suspension mode. Now the 812 Superfast completely comes alive. It is a full-fledged sports car. The steering is incredibly responsive. It feels really light on its feet, especially for its 3,800-pound curb weight. And it's a downright blast to drive. We've got a 7-speed double clutch transmission that shifts instantaneously. Downshifts happen in the blink of an eye, as do upshifts. But the steering feel is really where this thing shines, that and the beautiful V12 soundtrack. So the 812 is the first ever electronically power assisted steering Ferrari, and that's a pretty big deal. considering how known Ferrari is for their beautiful steering feel. But the good news is it doesn't hinder the car in any single way. It feels absolutely phenomenal through the turns. You have tons of connection to the road. I can feel what's going on between the tires and the tarmac beneath it, traveling up through the suspension and the steering column and into the steering wheel. We've got Ferrari's F1 traction control that works really, really well. You can push this car so hard, and the traction control only comes on when you really need it, allowing you to push the car through corners faster than you would think would be possible, depending upon your level of skill. And the car will save you, not in an abrupt way, but in a way that feels like you're a champion behind the wheel. So it is a very easy car to drive fast, despite its intimidating horsepower levels. Of course, if you turn traction control all the way off, things could get a bit gnarly. I imagine this is a drift monster. Another thing that comes with the electronically power-assisted steering is the fact that Ferrari has communicated the steering systems with the SSC, the side slip control system, which allows you to get a little bit of sideways action, drifting, so to speak, around corners and really push the dynamics of the car. It speaks to the steering column and gives you feedback letting you know if the car is about to understeer or oversteer by varying the torque values, which is a pretty ridiculous technology, but it works well. You can really feel what the Ferrari is about to do before anything happens. Now, it is a big car, don't get me wrong, but not in a bad way whatsoever. It's so spacious in the interior. Your visibility out of the front window is tremendous. Out of the rear window, you've got plenty of visibility. Same with over your shoulder, something that absolutely cannot be said for most V12 supercars. So you've got the ease of drivability part, but because you've got rear wheel steering, the rear wheels can turn independently from the front in the opposite direction at slow speeds as the fronts, to make it more nimble around corners, make it easier to turn in and out of parking spots in a parking lot, and they turn in the same direction as the front wheels at high speeds for increased stability. That, combined with the incredibly light but lovely steering, makes this car feel a heck of a lot less than its 3,800 pound curb weight would suggest. Acceleration statistics for you: the Superfast is in fact super fast. 0 to 60 happens in a face-ripping 2.8 seconds. 0 to 100 miles an hour happens in 5.8 seconds, and the quarter mile in 10.5. So properly fast. It's just so nice to drive. It doesn't beat up on you whatsoever. It just feels smooth. Such a fluid driving experience. Everything about it, the transmission, that powertrain, is instantly responsive, and you've got decent torque in the lower RPM ranges as well. If you floor it at 3,500, 4,000 RPMs, you're not waiting for that power to kick in. Obviously, it's a real screamer at the top RPM ranges, but it's got some good low down grunt to it. The brakes on it are phenomenal. Oh, it's just a confidence-inspiring vehicle in every single way. I love this car. I love the 812 so much. Oh, those shifts are addicting. This is one of the most daily drivable supercars there is. No doubt about it. And one of the best sounding. Woo! I love the shift lights on the steering wheel. That is so cool. So you can keep your eyes glued to the road, just see that out of your peripherals, the lower corners of your eyes, and know when to shift. That sound, oh my gosh! I love the analog tachometer in the center, flanked by 2 digital displays on the left and the right. Oh man, what a car. Well guys, there you have it. That is exactly what it's like to drive an 812 Superfast. It is an absolute pleasure to be behind the wheel of this car. Same with in the passenger seat, I imagine, as well. Overall, unbelievable. unbelievable. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.